Imagine facing life's toughest moments, not with fear, but with calm determination. The world in 2025 feels faster, louder, and more unpredictable than ever. Every headline screams urgency, every feed pulls your attention, and somewhere between it all, your peace quietly disappears. You feel the pressure to succeed, to respond, to stay relevant. It's as if the entire world is whispering that if you stop, even for a moment, you'll fall behind. And yet, what if the opposite were true? What if slowing down, what if stillness was your greatest strength? The Stoics faced chaos too, wars, plagues, loss, betrayal. But they discovered a truth the modern world keeps forgetting, that calm is not weakness, and silence is not surrender. Calm is control, silence is focus. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Those words, written 2,000 years ago, might be the most relevant words of 2025. Because we live in an age where everyone reacts, few reflect. Everyone speaks, few listen. Everyone rushes to change the world, but few stop to master themselves. That's where the unbreakable mindset begins. Not by changing the storm, but by learning to stand in it without being moved. The Stoic does not escape the fire, he becomes tempered by it. He doesn't reject pain, he transforms it into purpose. You cannot control the pace of the world, but you can control your inner rhythm. You cannot silence the noise outside, but you can create stillness within. This is the foundation of resilience, to remain composed while everything around you shakes. So as 2025 tests us with new fears and endless noise, remember, the goal is not to escape life's challenges, but to meet them with a mind that cannot be broken. In 2025, control feels like an illusion. Every day we open our phones, scroll through headlines, and try to make sense of a world that never stops changing. We are told that to stay informed is to stay safe. But what if the constant stream of information is what's making us anxious? Social media shows us perfection. The news shows us disaster. And somewhere in between, we lose touch with what is real. Our minds, pulled between envy and fear, become restless, exhausted, and reactive. The Stoics warned about this centuries ago. They called it the dichotomy of control, the clear line between what we can change and what we cannot. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "External things are not the problem. It's your judgment of them. And this you can erase right now." Think about that. The world will always give you something to fear, to compare, to react to. But clarity begins when you realize you can't control the storm, only your sail. Scrolling endlessly through other people's lives, opinions, and arguments is like standing in the middle of a crowd that never sleeps. The Stoic steps out. He watches, but he does not drown. He observes, but he does not absorb. This doesn't mean ignorance. It means focus. It means choosing where your attention goes, because attention is the currency of your soul. Every time you react to noise, you give away a piece of yourself. So the next time your feed floods with chaos, pause. Ask yourself, is this within my control? If not, let it pass like a wave. Return your focus to the only battlefield that matters, your own mind. That's where peace lives. That's where freedom begins. Uncertainty has become the currency of 2025. Jobs shift, prices rise, industries transform overnight. For many, the ground beneath their feet no longer feels solid. Anxiety grows with every headline about markets, layoffs, or inflation. Yet the Stoics would tell us, this is nothing new. Every generation believes its challenges are unprecedented, but the truth is that instability has always been the natural state of the world. The difference lies not in events, but in how we meet them. Seneca wrote, "A man who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than necessary." Worrying about what may happen only makes us weaker before it does. The Stoic practice is to face uncertainty with reason and readiness, not panic. Here enters one of their most powerful ideas, amor fati, the love of fate. to embrace what happens as part of the design of life itself. You may lose a job, an investment, a plan, but you do not lose your capacity to adapt. You do not lose your discipline, your creativity, your character. Amor fati does not mean resignation. It means transformation. It's saying, I will use this too. Whatever life hands me, I will turn it into strength. When the economy shifts, the Stoic does not collapse. He adjusts. He learns new skills, simplifies his needs, and measures wealth not by luxury, but by self-sufficiency. He understands that fortune is a visitor, not a master. In a world obsessed with growth and numbers, clarity is remembering this. You own nothing except your mind and your actions. Markets can fall, plans can fail, but your values, your discipline, and your calm are untouchable. So when the world feels unstable, stand taller. You were not born to control events. You were born to control yourself. That is the true wealth no market can take away. Pressure exposes the truth about who we are. When everything feels calm, it's easy to speak of discipline, patience, and wisdom. But when life presses down, when uncertainty turns to fear and routine turns to chaos, that's when the mind shows its training. In 2025, pressure is constant. We are connected to everything, expected to respond instantly, and rewarded for speed, not depth. Our minds, built for reflection, are forced to run like machines. No wonder we feel exhausted before the day even begins. The Stoics understood this long before modern psychology. They knew that emotion itself is not the enemy. It's the loss of control that destroys us. Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters. To him, composure was not detachment, it was power. Imagine anger rising. You feel it burn in your chest. A Stoic doesn't deny it. He observes it. He studies it like a scientist watching a flame, not to suppress it, but to understand it. That understanding is the difference between a slave to impulse and a master of self. Pressure doesn't create weakness, it reveals it. And that revelation is a gift, if you're willing to see it. Because only by seeing your breaking points can you rebuild them stronger. When stress strikes, most people run. The Stoic breathes. He slows down when the world speeds up. He refuses to let chaos dictate his state of mind. You cannot always control pressure, but you can control whether it breaks you or builds you. And in that choice lies the essence of Stoic strength. Calm in the storm, purpose in the struggle, freedom in the fire. Every Stoic spoke of it, the inner citadel, a fortress not built of stone but of discipline, focus, and truth. It's the place within you that remains untouched no matter how loud the world becomes. In 2025, you don't need walls or weapons to defend yourself. You need mental architecture, a daily structure that keeps your peace intact amid constant change. Because the world will always demand reaction, but your power lies in reflection. The Stoic citadel is built in layers. The first is awareness, to see your thoughts before they control you, to notice when emotion starts rising and say, this is a signal, not a command. That pause, that moment of awareness, is the foundation of freedom. The second layer is discipline, not as punishment, but as training. The Stoics practiced every day, writing, reflecting, preparing their minds for difficulty. They did not wait for chaos to test them. They trained for it in advance. The third layer is virtue, the four pillars: wisdom, courage, justice, temperance. They are not mere words. They are choices you make in every moment. Wisdom to see clearly, courage to act rightly, justice to treat others fairly, temperance to remain balanced in pleasure and pain. These layers create a mind that cannot be invaded. The noise outside may shake the walls, but it cannot reach the core. That core is you, calm, steady, awake. So begin your day not by opening the news, but by fortifying the mind. Breathe, write, reflect. You are not a victim of the world. You are a builder of your citadel. Adversity, the word most people fear, but the Stoics called it their greatest teacher, because only through resistance can strength be proven. Only through loss can we understand what truly matters. Seneca wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." The purpose of hardship is not punishment, it's preparation. Every obstacle is a forge where your character is refined, where your virtues are tested, and your weakness burned away. In 2025, adversity wears new masks. Financial pressure, digital fatigue, broken relationships, loneliness in a connected world. But its essence remains the same. It asks one question: will you be broken, or will you be built? The Stoic answers calmly, "I will be built." Marcus Aurelius faced wars, betrayal, plague, yet he wrote with compassion, not despair. Why? Because he saw life not as something that happened to him, but something that happened for him. Every challenge was a lesson designed to shape his soul. This is the mindset of resilience, not avoiding pain, but assigning it purpose. The storm comes, and instead of hiding, you stand in the rain and ask, "What can this teach me?" Pain is information. It shows where the cracks are. It reveals attachments, fears, illusions that hold you back. When you meet pain with awareness, it transforms from an enemy into a guide. So the next time life hits hard, don't just endure, learn. Ask not, "Why me?" but "What now?" Each trial can make you bitter, or it can make you better. That choice, that moment, defines who you become. Because in truth, adversity doesn't shape you. Your response to it does. The modern world believes it's more advanced, faster, smarter, more connected. But in truth, humanity is not facing new problems, only old ones with new names. Anxiety, anger, greed, comparison, they simply travel now through Wi-Fi. The Stoics lived without our technology, yet they understood the same storms of the mind. They didn't scroll, but they compared. They didn't check notifications, but they feared reputation. They too faced distraction, ego, and desire. And still, they found peace, not outside, but within. In 2025, clarity is harder to find because noise has become profitable. Every app, every headline, every algorithm fights for your attention. And the more attention you lose, the less of yourself remains. The Stoics would say, guard your mind like a sacred temple, because what you allow inside will soon shape how you see the world. Marcus Aurelius wrote his thoughts not for the world, but to remind himself how to stay human amid chaos. He lived surrounded by power, war, and pressure, yet he wrote of humility, compassion, and calm. That's ancient clarity, to live in the center of noise and still hear your own thoughts. Modern chaos teaches us to react. Ancient wisdom teaches us to reflect. Modern life tells us to seek attention. Stoicism reminds us to seek understanding. You can't outpace chaos by moving faster. You defeat it by standing still, by being grounded when everything else trembles. Technology changes the tools, but not the truth. Peace, courage, clarity. They're not outdated virtues. They are survival skills for the modern soul. So while the world keeps spinning, remember what doesn't move. The mind that observes, the breath that steadies, the wisdom that endures. That is the clarity the ancients left behind. A compass pointing home when every direction seems lost. True freedom doesn't come from control. It comes from acceptance. Not the kind that gives up, but the kind that understands. Because the more you fight reality, the more power it has over you. In 2025, we want everything to bend to our will. The economy, people, plans, outcomes. But the Stoics taught a quieter form of victory, to align the mind with what is. You don't have to like every event, but you must learn to meet it without resistance. Epictetus said, "Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do, and you will go on well." This is not weakness, it is strength disguised as peace. Because once you stop demanding that life obey you, you begin to work with life, not against it. Acceptance doesn't mean passivity. It means seeing clearly before acting wisely. It means saying, yes, this is what is happening. Now, how will I respond? When things fall apart, Most people waste energy wishing they hadn't. The Stoic rebuilds. He uses acceptance as a foundation for action. From that stillness comes the right decision, not born of panic but of perspective. Freedom through acceptance is not the absence of struggle. It's the mastery of response. It's walking through uncertainty with calm eyes and steady breath, knowing that whatever comes, you will remain whole. You can't stop the tide, but you can learn to swim. You can't stop time, but you can use it well. And you can't stop change, but you can let it make you wiser. That is the paradox of Stoic freedom, to find control precisely in the act of letting go. You've made it this far, and that already sets you apart. In a world of constant noise, you chose stillness. In a culture of distraction, you chose reflection. And that simple act is the beginning of strength. The Stoics never promised an easy life. They promised a meaningful one. To live by reason, not reaction. To act with virtue, not vanity. To endure with purpose, not despair. Our world doesn't need more noise. It needs more calm voices, more minds that think clearly, more souls that live wisely. And maybe that starts with you. Marcus Aurelius didn't know his writings would survive 2,000 years. He wrote them only to remind himself to stay human. But because he practiced clarity and courage, his thoughts still guide us. So ask yourself, what will your example leave behind? You don't have to be an emperor to live like a Stoic. You only need to master one thing, your mind. Because when your mind is unshaken, the world loses its power over you. You become free, calm, resilient. You become the Stoic of your time. If this message reached you, don't let it stop here. Help it reach others who are still lost in noise and confusion. Share this video. Leave a comment. Not for the algorithm, but for those who seek truth and strength. And if you haven't yet, subscribe. Join a community of thinkers, not followers. Of calm minds, not loud voices. Because this isn't just a video. It's a movement, a return to ancient wisdom in a modern world. Thank you, truly, for being here. Stay strong, stay calm, and remember, the fire inside you is stronger than any storm outside.